soon, next week, I will send some guidelines for that. So what are the different approaches we can have for the layout? Okay, the main challenge is when you are making the CSS layout is the difference in the screen sizes, right? We can have a mobile or a tablet or the personal PC, right? Laptop, desktop. The screen size will differ, and when the screen size differs, that becomes a one challenge for making the right kind of a layout. There are different approaches that are followed: fixed layout, liquid layout, hybrid layout. In case of a fixed layout, no matter what, you will fix the width. Let's say you want to have the width as 960 pixel, and everything, whatever the elements you have on the layout, everything will be relatively, which will have the a fixed width. That is, you will specify how many pixels it is going to be. So irrespective of what kind of a device you are using to display your page, it will show the same. Suppose if you are done it for 960 pixel, if you open it in a device which is 960 pixel, you will see it nicely. Your page will be shown very nicely. And if you see it in the larger screen, then you will see some blank spaces, and blank spaces, it will, your web page will display 960 pixel and rest will be blank. And in case of a liquid layout, to avoid that kind of a problem, because you will see blank space, and if the screen is smaller, some part of the page you won't see, it will not be visible. To avoid that, we can have the liquid layout. In case of a liquid layout, we use the percentage or EM. All the elements would be, their sizes would be in the percentage of the parent container. What happens is, when the window resizes, or it is a different screen, tablet or a phone or a laptop, automatically it will shrink down. So it will shrink the elements. One challenge with some of the elements will depend on the external things for their size. Those will not be resized. Those are the problems. For example, is the image. Whatever is the image size, it will not shrink down. That is one challenge for the liquid layout. And in case of a liquid layout, what happens is, when you are increasing the screen, relatively everything will get increased. So that might cause some readability issues, and when you reduce it, it will reduce it. That will cause some readability issues. To avoid that to some extent, we can use the hybrid layout. In case of a hybrid layout, you will some portion you will use it as a fixed, and some portion you will use it as a liquid. What is the fixed is, let's say you have the left side panel. Okay, relatively some navigation links will be there. That particular text is already fixed. When you do the design, that will not change. So you can keep that one fixed. When screen is changing, and you can set some minimum size for that. Okay, so that you don't squeeze it inside. If the size is very small, you can set some fixed value. So side left panel, right panel, relatively it will be same size. So you can make it as fixed. And the main content, which is the main content, that you can make it as a liquid layout. That is a hybrid layout. So those are the things. So this is a fixed layout. You can see here. Your web application is designed for 960 pixel, and you can see some extra blank space because the screen is bigger. Just to have the width the same on both, you can set the margin left and margin right, so that blank spaces is divided equally into left and right. Okay, still you will see the blank spaces. Okay, this is the problem with the fixed layout, right? Some portion, when you change the orientation from landscape to portrait, some portion is removed. Okay, that is the problem. Liquid layouts. This is the example of a liquid layout. Now you can see that the screen is a smaller, and all these elements are set as a percentage, and according to the parent size, maybe this side is 25%, this side is left panel is 25%, right panel is 25%, and main area of displays are about 50%. And when the screen size is changed, you can see relatively the left panel, right panel got increased, and the size is also increased, and accordingly the content will get readjusted. In case of a hybrid layout, what you can do is, see here, the navigation, the text, maximum text is here. So you don't have to really make this as a liquid layout. What you can do it as this as a fixed layout, and this is also relatively the content is small and it is fixed. You can make this as fixed. You can change only the center, which is a main content area. That is a hybrid layout. So today we will see the responsive design. So what is a responsive design? The page responds to changes in the browser size that go beyond the width scaling of the liquid layout. So in case of a liquid layout, we just saw we use the percentage, and there is a scaling of the width. Only there is a no other technique used, just the scaling of the each element according to the different screens. Responsive design goes beyond that. Okay, so and liquid layout has a problem with the images as well, and some of the components which will not shrink. Okay, which will not scale down. One of the problems of a liquid layout is that images and horizontal navigation elements tend to take up a fixed size. And when the browser window shrinks to the size of the mobile browser, liquid layouts can become unusable because it will not shrink down. In case of a responsive layout, images will be also scaled down, and any kind of a navigational elements we have that can be replaced. Okay, replaced with some other things, so that browser will shrink down. This is the responsive design. You can see here. This is the page, and clearly you can see like a, clear division of two columns. I have one column on this side and one more column on this side. When this particular screen resizes, when we resize to this size, now you can see the width has been reduced. In when the width is reduced, you can notice this particular image, okay, which was this size before, it has been reduced to this size. In case of a responsive design, we will scale the image also. Okay, if the window is the screen size is increasing, we will scale up, and if the windows screen is going down, we will scale down the images. Okay, that is the example of a image. And you can see here, when the browser sinks below certain threshold, then layout and navigational element change as well. So the navigational and the layout elements which are fixed, that those are also will be changed. For example, you can see here, okay, this particular list, if there is a list, in case of a unordered list of hyperlinks, changes to a select, and the two columns design changes to the one column. So now you can see, earlier this in the third scenario, the width has been further shrunk. So the two columns is changed to a single column, and also if there is any list of items or the hyperlinks, that will be converted into a select item, so that we can save the space. So that is how the responsive design will be. And how to take care of the responsive design? There are four important key aspects of making the responsive design. And the first design key element is the liquid layout. So we are going to use the liquid layouts, where each element, whatever the each element you have created, you will set the width in terms of a percentage, so that it will be resized according to the whatever the screen it is getting displayed. That is the first key area, liquid layout. Second one is scaling images to viewport size. Whatever the viewport size is there, we will scale down or scale up, okay, the images. That is the second key factor. And the third key factor is setting viewports via the meta tag. So we will use the meta tag, using which we will set the viewport. What should be the properties of the viewport? We will see using the meta tag. We will set that so that the respective browser on the individual equipment, or the either it's a phone or a tablet or laptop, it will understand what viewport it should be using. Then fourth one is customizing the CSS for different viewports using media queries. So there is something called as a media queries. Using those media queries, we can customize the different viewports, how it will be using the media queries. So as per the media is the medium. Medium is where your web application is getting displayed. Phone, your tablet, or a laptop, anything. Those are the mediums. According to the each media, we will set the viewport. And how to scale the image. Responsive design begins with a liquid layout. That is, one is most elements have their width specified as a percentage. So in case of a responsive design, first thing is all the elements, or most of the elements, they will be set, their width will be set as a percentages. Making images scale in size is actually it is quite straightforward. In that, you simply need to specify the following rule. So using the this particular rule, okay, max width 100%. In case of an image, you will set this attribute max width as 100%. That scaling property will be added to the image. Whenever the screen is getting resized, the images will also get scaled according to the screen. A key technique in creating a responsive layouts makes use of the ability of current mobile browsers to shrink or grow the web pages to fit the width of the screen. So, whatever the available screen for the display, how it will shrink or grow. Okay, the ability of the particular device will make sure that the responsive design work. Here you can see the example. This is 960 pixel mobile browser viewport. Okay, you have a mobile browser. That viewport is 960 pixel. Mobile browser renders web page on its viewport. What the mobile browser will do? It will render the whatever the web page you have designed on its viewport. Okay, and mobile's browser viewport 960 pixel, and then this particular viewport then it will be scaled down to whatever is the physical screen. The physical screen is 320 pixel. So this 960 pixel will be scaled down to show it on the physical screen, which is 320 pixel. Second step is it then scales the viewport to fit within its actual physical screen. The browser renders the page on its viewport as 960 pixel, and then 960 pixel it is that particular viewport is scaled down to fit the physical screen, which is 320 pixel. So how to make that thing to happen? So in the developer, if the developer has created responsive site that will scale to fit smaller screen, she may not want mobile browser to render it on the full size viewport. The web page can tell the mobile browser to viewport size to use via the viewport meta element. So let us say in the earlier case, what has happened is here we have the screen of 320 pixel, but the mobile browser it rendered on the viewport 960 pixel. Suppose on smaller screens, or the mobile screens, if you don't want to render the full size of the viewport, what you can do is you can specify that. And how to do that? We can use the meta element. Using the meta element, we can specify what the size of the particular viewport should be rendered. And where we specify the meta element, we already know in the header section. So this is HTML. Inside the HTML, I have header section and the a body section. In the header section, I can specify the meta element. How to specify that? Opening angle bracket meta, this is the keyword you are going to use. Name is equal to viewport. So name value you will set as a viewport, and content value you will set as width is equal to device width. So what should be the width? Width equals whatever is the device width, and forward slash and closing angle. That is the way you will specify it in the header section. Now you can see. So for this particular web page, you have specified meta, name, viewport, content, width, device width. So whatever is the device width. Now you can see mobile browser renders web page on its viewport, and because of the meta setting makes the viewport the same size as the pixel size of the screen. Now whatever the browser that is rendering, you can see it is 320 pixel. So that is the mobile browser viewport. Whatever is the physical screen, okay, because we have given width is equal to device width. Whatever is the device width, the same thing will be rendered here. In the earlier case, it rendered 960 pixel and then it is scaled down. Now, in this particular case, because it used the meta property, it knew it has to use this device width. So it will take the 320 pixel only. So there is no need to scale down. Whatever is in the viewport, that is displayed on the physical screen. So first one is mobile browser renders web page on its viewport, and because of the meta string setting makes the viewport of the same size as the pixel size of a screen. Then step 2, it then displays it on the physical screen without scaling, with no scaling. Next is the media queries. Okay, media queries. The other key component of a responsive design is CSS media queries. A media query is a way to apply style rules based on the medium that displaying the file. You can use these queries to look at the capabilities of the device and then define CSS rules to target that device. So in this case, what we can use the media queries. Using media queries, what we can do, we can understand the medium where it is getting displayed, and based on the medium, we can specify the style. What style you want to specify according to the media. So using the media queries, how the media query would be? First one is at media. You will use the media. It defines this as a media query. So the browser will understand this is a media query. And next one is only. What is the only? Is use this style if both conditions are true. Which are the two conditions? We have this and this. Okay. So this at media, it defines the media query. It will understand the media query. Only will specify both the conditions should be specified. If both these conditions are specified, then this particular style will be applied. So in the screen, device has to be a screen. Device has to be a screen. So first thing is particular device has to be a screen, and second thing is that device has a max width of 480 pixel. Use this style if width of the viewport is no wider than 480 pixel. So if first thing is it is a screen and that screen has a maximum width of 480 pixel. So less than or equal to 480 pixel, this particular style will be applied. So if both conditions are true, CSS rules to specify if device matches this condition. Now if this condition is a true according to this device, now I will know what is the maximum width. Okay, where you are displaying, you know what is the maximum width. According to this, I will specify the style. Okay, CSS rules will be specified according to this width. We'll see the example. Contemporary responsive sites will typically provide CSS rules for phone displays first, and then tablets, then desktop monitors, An approach is called as a progressive enhancement, in which the design is adapted progressively more advanced devices. So when you are specifying the devices, you will be specifying the CSS rules for the phone display first, then you will go for the tablet, then you will go for the desktop or the laptop. That is called as a progressive enhancement. So in that way it will progressively go. If it is first, it will check if it is a phone. If it is true, then it will apply that rule. If not, to the next level, tablet. If not, to the next level, that is a desktop or a laptop. These are the different features and their description for the media queries. Browser features you can examine with the media queries. So we can set width. This is the width of the viewport with media queries. So all these things will be used along with the media query. Width will give the width of the viewport. Height of the viewport. Then device width. This is the width of the device. Device height is the height of the device. Orientation, whether the device is a portrait or landscape, and the color, the number of bits per color that you want to use. So here is the example. So first thing, this is the style sheet that is created, and the name of the style sheet is styles.css. So in styles.css, for a different medium, the CSS rules are specified. First one is the rules for the phones. So this particular section, it is the phone for the phones, style for the phones, and we are using the media query. At media, okay, only means what? This and this condition should be satisfied. A screen, and maximum width is 480 pixel. So max, it has to be a screen, and max width has to be 480 pixel. In that case, what I am doing is this is some examples. There are many rules that you can specify here. Some rules that is given is here, slider image max width 100%. So you are making here the whatever the slider image as a scalable, and you can say flash add display none. So in the last class, you know this property, display none, what it will do, it will completely remove that item from the display. If it is a phone device, what you are doing is the flash add, you are removing it. You are completely taking it out of the HTML document. Now, next, after the phones, you will set the CSS rule for the tablets. And in case of a tablet, the at media only, screen, and you are setting here minimum width. Minimum width colon 481 pixel, and maximum width 768 pixel. So in this case, only means what? It has to satisfy all these three conditions. Screen, minimum width should be 481 pixel, and maximum width is 768. So this is the tablet. When this condition is true, it will apply the certain rules. So based on your web application, what you are displaying, you can choose to have a rules which will suit the tablet display. And after that, you will have CSS rules for desktop. Okay, and in this case, media, that is at media, and after that only, this is the condition. It checks the this and this condition. Screen and minimum width is 769. So up to 480 pixel is taken care by up to 480 pixel, this style will be used, and 481 to 768, this style will be used, and beyond that, that is 769 and above, this particular style will be used. Okay, so one way is you have included all the media queries in the same style sheet, styles.css. It has all the rules included, but if you want a better maintenance of the code or better understanding of the code, you can separate these things into three different files. So instead of having all the files in a single file, we can put them in separate files and add media queries to a link elements. So we can put all these queries, all these styles in a different style files, CSS files. You will put this particular on the phone, this particular as the tablet.css, this particular style as, you can say it as desktop.css, and include them as a link. So you can see here, link rel style sheet href mobile.css. So for this particular, the name given is mobile.css, and we have the media property. Media is equal to what? Screen and max width 480 pixel, that is specified. Next one, again everything is same, href tablet.css, that is the name of the file where you have this style, and you will use the media is equal to screen and minimum width 481 pixel. And next one is the desktop.css. You will say screen media, for the media you will set the values screen and minimum width 769 pixel. So that is how you can have it as three different files. It depends on how many devices you want to cater for, or how you want to design. You can have number of files, so it will be very easy to maintain. And if there is change required, you can go and change the particular file. You need not touch a very single large file. So instead, for each of the devices you have a separate style files. And also you can have, suppose if your design is supported from IE 9 and above, right? And if you want to have a different style for the older versions of the Internet Explorer, you can do that. So you can see here, if LT less than IE 9, then link. So this is the conditional. So this will handle the Internet Explorer 8 or earlier using the IE conditional comment. So you can see the conditional statement here. If the browser on the device is older than the 9, this condition will be true. Then what you will do, you will specify media all, and you will specify which particular file should be used. Okay, style -ie.css. So whatever the variations you want to have for the older version, you can include it in this particular file. CSS framework. What is a CSS framework? CSS framework is a pre-created set of CSS classes or other software tools that make it easier to use and work with a CSS. So CSS framework is nothing but it will have many classes that are created, means inbuilt with that particular framework, and there are many tools which will be available with that framework, that you can use it for your web application development. So there are two main types of CSS framework we have. One is the grid system, and second one is the CSS preprocessors. And in grid system, what grid systems make it easier to create multi-column layouts. Some of the most popular are, first is multi-column. So using, how did we create the multi-column earlier? We use the float and the positioning. Okay, either using the float or the positioning, the relative advantage and disadvantage. We created the multi-column where your web application will be divided into multiple columns. In creating such multi-column applications or the layouts, the grid system will be very helpful. And some of the most popular multi-column systems are Bootstrap. We can use Bootstrap, then Blueprint, then 960. Okay. So this is the grid system. Okay. Most page designs begin with a grid, and in this case, the 7-column grid is being used to lay out the page elements in Adobe InDesign. So it is a one example shown using the grid. So there are basically 7 columns are there. Okay, in the grid, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so that is with a grid design. And the advantage with the grid design is your whatever the content of your web page, it's looks very consistent. There will be uniformity of the display, uniformity of the information, and it looks very clean. So here this is with the grid lines, and this is without the grid lines. So without the grid lines, the elements on the page do not look random, but planned and harmonious. So you can see the element that are displayed, uh, they are not random, they are planned, and they look very nice. This is the code for 960 grid. In case of a 960 code, we will link the files. So these are, as I said, with the framework, with this particular framework, already these .css files are created. We can readily use them. Okay, just what you have to do is the link them. Okay, how to link the CSS, you already know. You use the link tag. Okay, and href reset.css, text.css, 960.css. So this will contain all the rules, the different classes that are created here, that you can directly use inside your web application development. In this example, you can see here there is a beginning of the division. This ends here. So that is the inside the body, that is the main division. And you can see class is equal to container underscore 12. So where is this container underscore 12? This is in the 960.css file. And inside this container 12, so there are going to be like 12 columns, and div class grid underscore 2. So the first two grids, you are making it as a left column. Then next div, so these are inside the main div. Next div class grid underscore 7. So it will make sure that the next 7 grids are for the main content. So 2 plus 7 9. And we have for the right panel, we have uh, class is equal to grid underscore 3. So this will make sure that the right column is created using the 3 grid. So 7 plus 3, 10 plus 2, 12. Total 12 columns. And another division, class is equal to clear. So you have to see what this clear means inside the 960 .css. We can download that particular file, and we can check what are these class selectors, how they are defined. That particular definition would be inside this particular file. This is the bootstrap code. Okay, in case of a bootstrap, you will download bootstrap.css. It is open source. You can download this, and in your web application you can link that bootstrap file. Okay, how to link? href, you will say bootstrap.css, and rel is equal to style sheet. Inside the body, a same design as a 960 code, you have div class is equal to container. Here we have something called as a container. There we had in case of a 960, it is a container underscore 12. Here we just have a container, and here uh, div class is equal to row, and div class is equal to column md dash 2. So this is how we create the left column. And for the main content, class call colmd7, right? That for the main content. And for the right column, we have call md and 3. So if you see here, this is the container, and next I have the division here, and this division starts here. It this ends here, and all these three, and this division is, it will make it as a row, and inside that row we have the first two column for left, the next 7 for the main content, and next 3 for the right column. This is how it is done in the bootstrap code. These are the examples of bootstrap layouts. Next is CSS preprocessors. CSS preprocessor, you already know what is a preprocessor. So it will process something even before it is given to the actual compiler. Okay, that is the general meaning of the preprocessor. Here, even before it is given to the web browser, it will do some pre-processing activity. So preprocessors are the tools that allow developers to write CSS that takes advantages of programming ideas such as variable, inheritance, calculation, and function. So preprocessor will allow us to use the programming ideas. What are the programming ideas? You want to use variables, you want to use the inheritance, or do some kinds of calculation, or call some functions. Those are the things are possible with the CSS preprocessor. Most sites make use of some type of a color scheme, perhaps 4 or 5 colors. Many items will have the same color. So we'll see the example of a preprocessor. So here you can see a dollar. This is next is the name of the variable, color scheme A, then dollar color scheme B, and dollar padding common. And each of those has a certain value after the colon ends with a semicolon. Certain value of the color is given here. Hash. This is hexadecimal number 796D60. And for the scheme B, it is 9C9C9C. That is the color. And for the padding, 0.25 EM and colon. So this is a this example uses SAS, syntactically awesome style sheet. Here three variables are defined. These are the three variables that is defined. Then you can reference these variables in the whichever tag selector you want to use. You can use. Here it is for the footer. Inside the footer, background color, I did not specify the actual color, rather I specified the variable name. So what is the variable name? Dollar color scheme A. That is the variable name here. And padding, what is the padding? The padding is nothing but I did not give the actual value. What I gave is dollar padding common. That is the, this is the dollar padding common into multiplied by 2 and then semicolon. So this is the pre-processing activities. So you can see some kind of a multiplication is present here. Then we can see here at mixin. At mixin, using that we can create the something like a function. So you can see a rectangle that takes two colors, dollar color back and dollar color border, and we are setting that property here. For border, solid 1pt, color border is coming as a parameter, margin 3 pixel, background color, again it is coming as a parameter, dollar color back is, it is coming as a parameter. Then inside the field set, I am setting using the mixin. Okay, I am referencing hash include. So I am including what? I'm including this rectangle, and I am passing two values. I'm sending the color scheme B, that is the variable, okay, and color scheme A. So this will is reference inside the field set. And after that, I have a another dot box, that is the class. Inside that, I'm referencing the function rectangle at include rectangle with the two colors, and also I'm specifying padding space padding common. So this is the SASS source file. Okay, so the file extension would be .scss. So source.scss, that is the file extension which indicates the preprocessor files. Once we create the preprocessor files like this, we have to use the a SAS processor. Okay, a SAS processor is some type of a tool that the developer will use, and he will run. This SAS processor will take this file as a input, and it produces the CSS file. Okay, so it will take this particular as a input, this file source.scss file, and it produces the CSS file. Now we'll look at the CSS file. Footer, okay, this is the CSS file. Footer padding 0.5 em. So here what we had, padding is equal to dollar padding common into 2. So what is the value of dollar padding? In this preprocessor will replace the value of the variable. So it will replace this value 0.25 here, and it will multiply with the 2, that is 0.5. That is what you are getting here, 0.5 EM. Background color, it is the color of this variable dollar color scheme A. Scheme A has hash 796060, 796060. Next, the field set. The field set is referencing a function at include a rectangle. So with these two values, it will call this. Okay. After calling this, it will replace with these values. Now it will replace, the first one is the scheme B color, that is 9C9C. So wherever is the color back, this would be 9C9C, background color 9C9C. You can see it has replaced the value of background color. And the for the border, solid 1pt color border is scheme A, that is 796060. You can see solid 1pt 796060. And dot box, next is the dot box. It is referencing this function, as well as it has a one more property. When it references this one with this value, whatever is here, it will be replaced with the past value. So here we are calling with the color B and A. Inside the dot box, we are calling with the color A and B. So it will be reverse. So you can see this and this would be opposite, and this would be opposite. Rest of the properties are same, right? So it will get 1, 2, 3 properties from this rectangle function. And there is one more property that is defined here, padding common. And what is the value of padding common? 0.25. We get it as 0.25. So using this preprocessor, we can convert this kind of a file, where you are using the variables, functions, okay, referencing the functions, calling the functions, so as to set the properties for different elements. Once you process that through the preprocessor, then this is what the output, the pure style sheet CSS file you will generate. So this is the generated CSS file. Example, you can give the any name, styles.css. Okay, that is the completion of the second module.